Grandpa Simpson. Actually, it came from. I took this voice from one of my sisters, who used to do like when she was a kid, she'd go, "I'm her grandma," or something like that. I don't know where she came up with that. So we all used to do like, "I'm a grandma, I'm a grandpa," and that was the first like old voice, like voice I did as a kid but basically inspired by what one of my sisters did. Originally, Groundskeeper Willie was originally was Swedish. He was a Swedish, but they thought that was too like low energy or something. I can't remember. So I did different things, and then when I hit upon Groundskeeper Willie, they liked it, and I flashed on a character that Dave Thomas did on second SCTV, for first it was called Second City Television, where he played this real dour Scottish. It was a cooking show, but he was just this bitter Scottish cook at dinner. He says, "I'll make this for you, but you probably won't like it." And that was sort of the take I gave him. Willie was like, he just hated his job and hated Skinner and all the kids. They messed up his perfect school. It was a bit. I think it came when Bart was in the well, and they needed to dig in the well, and because this looks like a job for Willie, and they thought it'd be funny because his body sort of looks like he's got a pot belly, but when he rips off his shirt, he's ripped, So they thought it was a funny visual gag. Mayor Quimby was basically, it was written there, a Kennedy-esque politician. So I just went back to Vaughn Meader, who used to do it was a record I had, The First Family. So that's where he came from. Simple as that. I had heard subsequently that Ted Kennedy may have been irritated with it or something, because they would make allusions to Ted Kennedy. Barney was, we just went through different voices, and it's so funny. It's like, I sometimes, you see how unconscious things are, but like, I remember there was a record I used to listen to, and it was a Mr. Magoo hi-fi record. And it had Mr. Magoo and his nephew, Wally. And I think I know Mr. Magoo was Jim Backus. I think Wally was Dawes Butler. I'm not positive. And I used to listen to it all the time. And I kind of recognized the germination of Homer and Barney from that record. Because Homer has a little Mr. Magoo in him. And there's a little Mr. Magoo, just a little bit. And then Wally used to talk like this. He goes, "Gee, Uncle, what are we going to do today?" So Barney was a little bit like that, but his voice was a little higher, went a little bit up like that. But that's where he came from. And I ran through different drunk voices and came up with that. And maybe a little bit of Frank Fontaine, Crazy Guggenheim from the Jackie was also a favorite of mine. Hey, just a little bit of that. Yes, Hans Moleman. Originally, he was just like I think he was at the DMV or something, and he had to read something, and he couldn't read, and he was just this frail little old man. And Matt just thought the design was so hysterical. He kept bringing that character back. And again, it was all serendipitous. He might have been a one-shot character that the writers thought was funny, and they kept bringing him back. Of course, then they kept killing him. But I just thought of the most frail, because Grandpa's like a feisty old man, but Hans Moleman's kind of a frail old man because he can't see very well. And I think they call him Old Man because he couldn't read the chart at the DMV, so they gave him real thick glasses, and that's probably
He kind of looks like a mole.
They made him he looked like a mole man, so they started calling him Hans Moleman. There's a guy, Gil, who was the salesman. Yeah, Gil, which is just based on Jack Lemmon, who was one of my favorite actors, an actor I aspired to be like. They were doing about real estate. It was sort of a Glenn Ross, where Marge was working for real estate. And there was a guy named Gil who was a very desperate, sweaty guy, so I just based him on the Shelley the Machine character that Jack Lemmon played. Yeah, Marge, you got any leads? I need leads. The wolf is at old Gil's door. Where he's trying to be happy, but he's desperate behind. No, I've never been one to like bring characters up. I've always sort of like, I had sort of a bunch, in reserve, and then look and see whatever they would give me would fit for that. But I never really came in with a character that I did and said, hey, let's do something off of that character.